You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Well, hello and welcome to this edition of the Red Raider Coaches Show. My name is Brent Johnson, your host, along with head coach Mark Wilson. Coach, how you doing?
Doing good, Glad to be here.
And we want to thank you for joining us again. This is will be the 10th week of the 10th show of this season as we are heading into senior night, and we'll get to that in just a few moments. But we want to reflect a little bit about last week's game. It was a unique to us because of the travel, Coach. We had to go quite. It felt like a playoff. We were traveling for playoff, and ultimately it is. It was that we finally got to our region schedule, and we've talked all year long that the games leading up to that are basically scrimmage games. They have no bearing on where we end up or set up or are seated in the playoffs. They're just preparing us for that, and but we got to that first region opponent. Pelham, the ride wasn't quite as bad as miserable I thought it would be on a school bus.
Right.
Pretty country through there. I kind of stayed awake and looked at the countryside there. It was pretty. Never been to Pelham. I've been to Baconton Charter over there about 10 years ago, but they had a real nice facility too.
They really did.
Kind of compared to what we have here at home.
That's right. You got a newer school, and I think they said they had that field house and all that about 5 years. So
were you able to look around?
Yeah, I mean it was great. The field house was real nice. I mean, they had their weight room in there, dressing rooms, had an artificial turf for them to work out in there, and then they had it pretty neat up top. They had coaching offices and a feeding area for their kids where they could feed them right there. And then they had a little hill they could run down for the thing. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, we could see the hill. That was neat. You said they had a little small turf field inside there to run some plays.
That's right.
20 or 25 yards.
Do a lot of speed and agility drills that they can do, and during the year, during the weight room and stuff. So
when we pulled in, the school looked relatively new, and then we pulled around to the back, and I saw that building. I assumed it was a field house, but I didn't know all the details about it. So that's pretty neat for talk about a small community.
Exactly, no doubt.
Pelham has been very competitive over the last several years. You said last week they had a brand new coach.
Right.
Did you say he played some ball at Thomas County or Thomas
County
Central?
He played at Thomas County Central with Coach Pilcher over at there, and we played. And when I was at Americas, we played Thomas County Central, and so I sort of knew him there. He was on the staff there, so knew him there. But they had him ready to go.
Yeah. Well, on paper, we looked at it, and I watched a little bit of film, some games on their NFHS, and they appeared to have struggled, earlier in the season against they played some quality opponents. Don't get us wrong, just like we have. I felt like maybe we would match up, and I think we did better in the second half. They kind of overwhelmed us there early.
They did, early. Their offensive line, when I looked at it on film, really come off the ball well.
Yeah.
And that option, it's hard to get ready for in a week, and I didn't have them prepared, so I'll take the blame on that. We probably need to start on the option in spring practice and learn it a little bit more. We have before, but and had a couple weeks to do it, but you can't replicate that in practice. No. And that's hard when your younger kids hadn't run that. You can't replicate. And they had some quality athletes.
Boy,
and,
did they?
And so we, got off the bus and wasn't ready to play, and finally caught our breath and was able to, get in the game with them a little bit. But I just have to do a better job.
Well, don't be quiet. I know coaches. You get paid the big bucks to hold that kind of that weight on your shoulders. Don't put quite that much pressure on yourself. But like I said, they played well. I asked you before the show, so maybe you think they might have played their best game that night, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get better each game. Right. But man, that's the first thing I noticed. That's the earliest we've gotten to a game this year, an away game, and watching them warm up a little bit. They had some really good-looking kids. 58, number 9. They were, just big kids and athletic. But that veer is tough. You said it takes discipline, and I thought I saw our kids. When you're defending that, you can be in the right place, but if you hesitate at all, man,
they get the angle.
Any kind of doubt in that angle.
Exactly
That's the key. Right. It's the angle.
Exactly right.
But
like I say, they run it. They start starting to get better with it, and I think in the second half of the Irwin game, if you watch the whole film, you know, they started hitting on something that you know, that they hadn't done as much, and so they hit on it, and they sort of find their niche.
That's right. I think, Coach, they may have thrown the ball more that night than they did all season long.
They haven't thrown it that all combined. You know, I think they've thrown 2 passes they completed all year.
You got to give them credit.
Yeah.
First play of the game, that was a great play call.
That's right. Trick play. That's right.
And a little trick play
Reverse
there, halfback pass,
Yeah.
reverse, and you know, you give a coach credit for that, but again, the second half, it seemed like we settled in. The boys didn't. They have all season long. They've never quit.
Well, that's the
And
thing.
they kept playing hard and was able to do some things. And it was against their number ones
That's
the whole
right.
game. You know, it wasn't like they put in their JV.
That's right. That's what we told them at half. Hey, you know, they're not this much better than we are.
That's
we got
right.
to play, you know.
That's right.
And so we did that and made a few adjustments at halftime. And being a young team, it's hard to make adjustments when several of them are playing both ways. And
Yeah.
you can't do it on the sideline. They're out there playing offense or defense, and
That's right.
got to get to halftime. And you don't have a lot of game experience. It's tough sometimes till you get to halftime to make some adjustments.
Yes.
So, and the coaching staff did a good job at halftime making some adjustments for us, and the kids responded.
They did.
They come out and played hard,
They
and
did.
like you say, kids hadn't quit all year. They played hard, and I was proud of them for that.
Well, I'm going to talk about something that I'm going to ask you too, because I know coaches usually don't want to comment on things like this, but you know, I was a little disappointed toward the end of that game when they punched it in there for a touchdown, extra touchdown with their number ones, and it could have kneeled on it and ended the game, been over with, but they decided to score a touchdown instead, which kind of padded their lead. But ironically, they kicked off to us. We had a young man just about take it to the house, and I thought that was a little bit it made me feel a little
That's
better
right.
about that situation. It almost took it to tackle him about the 2-yard line. We were able to punch it back in and get those 6 points back, you know. But I know situations like that, it's difficult. I was real glad our kids had that opportunity to do that, because I know they felt the same way when a team has an opportunity to kind of, you know, stick it to you, and for whatever reason, you know, and that's all I'll say about that. We'll move on from that, but you know, I enjoyed the trip over there. Again, that atmosphere, and we're going to see that over the course of the next couple of weeks. That same type of playoff atmosphere. So again, this week, senior night.
Yep.
It's a big night for the student athletes that have, especially the ones that have played for all 4 years. It should be a significant night for them, and even the guys that maybe all these guys, I'm not for sure looking down this list if they had played all. I know Nicosi Batten has for sure. I'll call him out, but some of these other guys that we're going to mention by name and let you comment on here in just a second. But senior night's a big deal. You know, we try to recognize these student athletes, and that's exactly what they are. They don't have to play football or these other sports. They choose to, but they have to make the grade. They have to come to class. They have to be, you know, good citizens, good stewards, and walking the halls and taking care of that business, as well as in our community. And it gives us an opportunity to recognize them. And we're going to start with this first young man, Antoine Fuller.
Yeah.
Or Guinea.
That's right. That's what we call it. Yeah, I probably didn't know that his name. No, just kidding. But Antoine's had a great year for us, really. You know, I think he's played 4 years or 3.5, and came in and really didn't know he's going to be eligible or not. And he worked hard all the spring and all the summer, and finally his eligibility came clear, and he's just done a real good job for us at receiver and returner, and he makes plays, you know.
He's fast. He's a good athlete.
He really is, and he's had a real good attitude. You know, at first, sort of had to learn how we did things, but boy, his attitude every week has just gotten so much better and done a great job for us.
The next one we'll mention is number 3, Myquavius O'Neal. Now, what's his nickname? I had no idea.
Mister.
I had no idea he had a nickname until last Friday night. Then I
That's
said, well,
right.
Mister might have been a little sick before the game. I'm like, who's Mister?
Well, I tell you what, he's one of the toughest kids, and I'll be honest with you, a great defensive player. We'll miss him big time on defense. Next year he makes a lot of plays, but last week showed the heart and character that he has. I'll be honest with you, before the game, he's throwing up the bathroom, and and sick, and we didn't think he could go, and he came to us, Coach, I'm going, and so we had the trainer look at him and make sure he was all right, and we got some Biolite down him and some Pepto-Bismol, and he just gutted it out through the game and played the whole game, and played a great second half. I mean, he was all over the place, and this shows what kind of testament he is. He's a leader by example. It's not as much as he's quiet.
Yeah.
And I got two of them as seniors that they lead by example, not as much as with their mouth, and that's what we want. You know, I always tell them you can't hear what they say.
That's
you know, you can see what they do.
That's
you
right.
know, and that's a leader to us.
Sure, absolutely. Third man here, number 8, Aiden Wright.
Yeah, Aiden's been a playmaker for us this year. Made a lot of big plays on defense. Had a lot of turnovers he's gotten and scored, and then on offense has made some plays for us. He's a basketball guy that came out. I think he's played a couple years and came out and he got a lot of ability and he's had a good year.
Number 19, Nkosi Batten.
Yeah, Nkosi, he's just a great kid. I mean, great in the classroom.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say anything bad about him. So, I don't think you will. Just a great kid, a great leader, another silent type that does, but played corner and quarterback and receiver for us. And I'll be honest with you, I believe he can go and kick somewhere. He's a great punter.
He can punt the ball.
Yeah, he can. And to be honest with you, he can kick extra point field goals too. We sort of every week on Wednesday afternoon we let both our kickers kick field goals and stuff like that, and he's good there too. So he's just a great young man.
Yeah. Next to last, number 26, Ty Carter.
Yeah, Ty's been off and on, I think, a little bit, but has played 2 or 3 years, and Ty's got a lot of ability, a lot of speed.
Yep.
And he's the talkative one of the group. He'll get you going.
That's right.
You got to watch it. He'll get them rolling and get them talking, and so he's been a good guy to be around the team.
Yeah. And then finally, number 72, Mr. Caleb Moore.
Yeah, Caleb's had a great year for us going in. I hadn't played a lot, but has started every game for us this year at center, and has done a real good job. He's another one that I be honest, you can get on him, and he's going, yes sir, and he'll be the first one up there. And every play, I believe he plays as hard as he can play.
Yeah. And
that's that's a lot of testament to him, his parents, and the coaches before that he's worked with, and it's been an honor and privilege to coach all these young men. They've come in, new coaching staff, new coaches. They could have just said we don't want to do it, but they've done everything we've asked them to do.
Well, that's all you can ask, Coach. And I haven't taught all these young men, almost all, about 4 of the 6, and everything you described about their character is absolutely true. It translates in the classroom. Anything you ask of these young men, it's yes or it's no, sir, and they go that extra mile. And man, that's what you want from a student athlete, and that's across the board, not just football, that's everything.
That's right.
And again, we're going to recognize these young men along with cheerleaders. That's competition cheer, I'm pretty sure, as well as, again, the football cheer, band members. We're going to recognize them Friday night. So come out and let's celebrate them this last home game, as well as it's going to be rec night. So it's going to be busy. We're going to be running some kids through there, recognizing coaches and their teams from rec ball. And coach, that's where it starts, right?
No doubt. We were supposed to have it during that East Lord game when that hurricane come through, and we couldn't play it on Friday, so we did that. But yeah, Reese and them do a good job out there, and the coaches. I've been out there. My little grandson plays football out there, and I've been out there and watched some games, and the coaches do a real good job, and Reese and his staff do a great job, and that's exactly where it starts. That's where they learn, and they all want to be Raiders.
That's right.
That's a great. They all wear that Raider shirt and be proud. So we're honored to have them come and be a part, and the kids will be excited about that.
That's right. That's right. It should be a good crowd again with all those people coming in recognition, and that'll be awesome. Weather is shaping up to be really, really nice too, and we're obviously excited about that. Having some good football Friday night, weather. But we do have a football game we got to prepare for and play. Yeah. And boy, what a team we got coming in. Brooks County, man, what a program they've had there for the last 20 years, basically. His name slips my mind.
Coach Freeman.
Coach
Maurice
Freeman. Maurice Freeman, one of the top coaches in the state of Georgia, maybe in southeastern United States. Does a fantastic job down there at Equipment, Georgia. They are the defending state champions in Single A. I think I mentioned this last week as we are headed into region play. We've got the two teams that played for the state championship last year in our region, and we playing them back to back. We got Brooks coming, and then we travel to Irwin to finish things off in the regular season. But I was talking to some guys the other day in class. I said, as tough as this game's going to be, let's be realistic. It's going to be tough, but that's the teams you want to play because that's the teams you strive to be.
Well, that's what you got to do. You got to see what you got to get to.
That's
right.
right.
And
to
where
be
you
the
need
best,
to
you got to
be.
be
That's
play
right.
the best.
Exactly right. And then that's what I told him. Brooks going to come over here. They got a great program, great players, and you can't measure a man's heart by how big or how fast or how strong they are. And hopefully we'll come out there and I know we will. Had a good week of practice. Play them hard, and like I told some of them, nobody expect Marshall to beat Notre Dame or App State to beat Michigan and stuff like that.
That's
so
right.
hey, we got to get after it, and the ball roll your way. You make your breaks, and
That's right.
and things like that, and we'll get after it, and that's what we're gonna play.
Well, we typically have all season long. I think most consistent we've talked about is we've been on the defensive side of the ball. They only scored 7 points. So was it last week or a week or so against Irwin County?
Yeah.
Irwin held them to 7.
Yeah.
They only scored 19. And they've as good as they are, they do have 2 losses. Cook County, pretty good Cook team this year.
No doubt.
It was sort of a higher scoring game there, maybe 30-28 or something like that.
34-28.
And but they're beatable. And they're coming over here. I don't know if Brooks has ever traveled to Bacon County and played.
Sure.
If they have, it's way back, maybe in the 90s or something. But I know we traveled over about 6 or 7 years ago. Played in the first round of the playoffs.
Right.
Coach, we had them on their heels.
That's right.
Should have won
Yeah.
that game.
I watched it on film.
And should have won that game, or at least could have won that game. And what the sick part about it, Coach, we'd won a game, we'd have come back and played our first
That's
ever
right.
home game. A 4 seed, I think Washington Wilkes defeated somebody,
That's
and
right.
they would have traveled here to Bacon
Yeah.
County. But anyway, that's the way it goes. But we're gonna have another shot at them
That's right.
tomorrow night.
That's right.
And
That's
we're
right.
excited. Coach, on the injury front, what are we looking like?
Yeah, I think we're fine. We got Devin Perez, our left tackle, starting tackle. I don't think he's going to be able to play. He had a funny thing. He got hurt during the game, saw him limping, but he was fine. Practiced Monday, and then that thing swole up on him, and
Oh, boy.
and so we have to be precautious with him and make sure everything's good with that, and get the doctor and see. But I think everybody else is good to go.
good.
Hopefully we'll be at almost 100%.
Well, I wanted to comment on one other player, and we've talked about him before. Or I mentioned, the little green kid that plays a lot of JV as a sophomore. He ran the ball late in the game and got that big run back.
No doubt.
But I want to comment on Richardson. I thought he's had some injuries his last few weeks, and but boy, he played hard the other night.
He
too.
did. He had a little giddy up in his step. Everybody could see that, and but he played through it and tough, and
He's a difference maker.
he
for us.
is. There's no doubt. I mean,
it's just-
when he's out there, it's a little different. So he practiced great yesterday. So hopefully, he'll be ready to roll, and so we expect him to be ready to go and everybody. So
That's good. Well, Raider Nation, we expect you to be out Friday night supporting not only these seniors but everyone. I mentioned the football team, the band, the cheerleaders, and even coming out and supporting those rec league teams who will be future Raiders. And that's important for us to do. So we encourage you to come out tomorrow night. 7 o'clock, I believe, is when the recognition is going to start. And the kickoff will be about 7:30.
Can I say one more thing about our cheerleaders and our band? I've been a lot of places, and we got great band cheerleaders. I was noticing in the game, I showed our kids the film at the end. They said, y'all think I just watched the game. I watched the sideline too. And we're down 34-6, I think, and we score. And our cheerleaders were just pumping us up the whole way. But it was amazing. I go, look at that, guys. And then our guys were running, even though we were behind, they were still into it. And our band's always does a great job. And it takes everybody to build a program.
That's
And
right.
we're headed the right way. And our seniors, one more thing I say about them, I've always told them, hey, you know, things haven't went the way it is, but you're the base and the foundation of what's been built here.
That's right.
And they'll always be welcome back to see when better things are happening and things like that.
That's right. Well, Coach, I appreciate those comments. I know they do too. Raider Nation does as well. Again, Raider Nation, another quick thing, I'm not sure when you'll be watching this. This is a Thursday morning recording. But Lady Raiders are in Columbus. They're competing for a state championship. They won game one yesterday. They play today at 1 p.m. So keep up. I'm sending stuff out on social media, the links of which you can click on to watch them live on the NFHS network. So hopefully they can continue their trek again toward that state championship.
I think our cross-country team won the region.
Cross-country,
Yeah.
boys and girls won the
Ain't that
region
right?
championship.
Great.
I think this is the third or fourth time our boys has done it over the course of the history of Bacon County. I think I was told yesterday that this is the first time our ladies cross-country team has ever won a region championship. So it's pretty awesome.
That
Pretty
is,
awesome.
yeah.
So congratulations to the coaches and those kids. But again, thank you for joining us on this week's edition of the Red Raider Coaches Show.